best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too. For those who are tuning in around the world to the best in late-night conservative talk, Sackheads Radio.
Sackheads Radio. Sackheads Radio.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back at Freedom Fest here at the SHR Media Network in beautiful Planet Hollywood, Las Vegas, Nevada, where it is a cool and balmy 100-something degrees outside. But fortunately, we're inside the air conditioning, and we're inside with a bunch of great people. One of them happens to be joining me right now. Author Greg Reiter, who authored a book, Saving America, One Crowd at a Time. And more importantly, somebody who wants you to make money. Is that a safe bet? Can I
Absolutely.
say that fairly?
Make money and create wealth.
Absolutely.
And jobs and stimulate the innovation as well.
So tell us a little bit about the book, why you wrote it. Obviously, you're not going to tell us everything about the book because I want people to go out and get it because I'm a capitalist. And what you hope it brings when people read it. What do people take away from it?
Well, I'm a long-time angel investor. And if you've ever watched Shark Tank and watch what's going on there, that's what I've been doing since I was 19 years old. And I just love free enterprise. I love capitalism. I love entrepreneurs. And it's like my nickname is the entrepreneur's best friend. And people always tell me, Ryder, you've never seen a deal you didn't like, right? So, because, I want to invest in everybody, right? Because that's the American spirit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this book was written because there was a law signed in by Obama that is the biggest piece of deregulation that's ever been signed by his administration for sure. And as the securities rules and laws are concerned, in the last 50 years, since like the Securities Act of 33, 34 was enacted. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. Obama signed it?
Well, there has to be something more to it then.
Yeah, he didn't talk about it on the campaign. No one knows about it. And I'll never forget, at the Freedom Fest in Bahamas, I was sitting with one of the guys who writes for the Wall Street Journal, and he didn't even know about it. So I kept going around, and then you see crowdfunding take place, right? And you Indiegogo and Kickstarter. And what this law is, or part of this law, the Jobs Act, is to allow companies to raise capital to the masses. And in the past, you could not invest unless you were a quote-unquote accredited investor. And as an issuer, you could not advertise to get accredited investor, so you had to have a pre-existing relationship. So it's like, if I was to ask you, your aunt, your uncle, your best friend comes to you and they invented some great widget that's awesome and people want it, and they need $500,000, where would you tell them to go?
No, nowhere.
Right?
Vegas, bet it all on black. Let's go.
So crowdfunding has taken off. There's been billions and billions of dollars raised for the innovation of products, for the creation of jobs, for the all this kind of stuff. And now for the first time, you can invest in companies through crowdfunding portals and crowdfunding. And no one knows about it. So I'm like, I'm going to write a book, and I'm going to use it as a platform just to rant and rave about my love for free enterprise, my love for capitalism, my love for the entrepreneur, and tell people there are avenues out there for you to get the capital, as well as my goal is to inspire and motivate people of high net worth to support the entrepreneur and invest in a crowd, because there's safety investing in numbers, right? Mm-hmm. If you go in as the lone wolf and I make an investment in your company, Sean, and but if there's 50 other people investing, there's wisdom in numbers.
Yes.
So,
and you definitely, and again too, the good part is like you said, there's wisdom in numbers. When you go into a venture, and listen, we started this from scratch, and we've done all this kind of on our own in small business, etc. One of the things that I found myself doing is once we got up and running, I said, okay, I don't know nearly as much about this as I thought I did. I knew a lot, but there's a lot more I need to do. And so the first thing you start doing is networking with other people that you know that may be able to add. So you kind of apply that to the finances too, right? You start getting involved with people who may know your business a little bit, but can see your goal, and obviously you have a business plan. and everyone's starting to get a little bit of help versus, like you said, that big splash.
Right. No, and that's why the whole Angel Investors Network. So the other thing that we do that's kind of unique is, one is we're national, whereas most angel groups are regional. So we're national. And secondly, we've accumulated and continue to accumulate a database of what I refer to as C-level executives. Because entrepreneurs come to me and want me to invest in their company, but a lot of them aren't really worthy of money yet, right? They have to be coached, they have to be mentored, but what they really need is two things. Human capital, a CFO, a CTO, a technology guy, somebody to validate whatever they're doing, and they need marketing. Because really what you're doing is you're marketing your investment opportunity, and people don't put two and two together, and it's that simple.
Well, there's no one to buy it if nobody knows about it, right? I mean, you can have the best there, and it's funny because we've seen that in the past, and you see somebody. I always go back to Edison the light bulb, and everyone's talking about, oh, Edison marketed it really well versus the light bulb. There's argument, but you could say that because of his marketing, if you will, he became the guy known for it, and there was argument as to whether or not he actually invented it or if it was done before it and he copied it. But it's usually the person that markets better, it doesn't matter who came up with it, is the one that sells it best.
That's it. It's all about marketing. and again, in this world, I have this term called the language of capital. It's like the words that come out of your mouth, you can be a money magnet or you can be a money repellent to an actual investor. And again, I'll classify investors in this area as professional investors and high net worth unprofessional investors. So a professional investor looks at hundreds of deals, dozens of deals, hundreds of deals a year, and they know and they can communicate. A high net worth investor that unprofessional, he might just invest in friends and family, he got introduced to it, but doesn't really know how to do research. So we want to coach and mentor these guys and teach them the language of capital. And if you've ever watched Shark Tank, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because you get these guys up there on stage, and they have a pretty good thing, and you can see some interest from the investors, the sharks, right? And they say one thing wrong, it's like, I'm out.
Done.
I'm out.
Done.
I'm out. I saw, and that's what happens, right?
So we have to, and inside the book, do you give some tips if you are an entrepreneur, if you are somebody who has that widget, on how to approach investors and what to avoid and what not to avoid? Or is it something where you got to kind of use your best judgment? You got to know your crowd, if you will.
Yeah. Well, actually, this really is a blueprint to tap into the $6 billion of anticipated investment capital and crowdfunding in the next 12 to 18 months, right? So we have the 7 secrets to raising capital, the 11 places that you can find money, the difference between angels and ventures. I talk about you got to understand the difference between a professional investor and an unprofessional investor. And from a marketing perspective, why would you waste your time pitching a professional investor if your deal's not professional investor grade, right? And again, another example of that would be a lot of angel groups. You're investing high risk, high return, right? We're looking for 30 to 100. Most angels look for 30 times their money. Most companies could never give that kind of return and keep any part of the company for themselves. So we call those lifestyle businesses. Well, we like to work with those because a lifestyle business is an entrepreneur that can build a business that can generate millions of dollars of profit, but it's not necessarily ever going to generate a 30x return. But they're still worthy of investment dollars. So you learn how to structure the deal differently. But don't waste your time pitching a professional investor who wants a 30x return on a lifestyle deal.
Yeah. Well, it's like don't go to a car dealership if you want to buy a boat. You have to know exactly what you're getting in for. Tell us a little bit about angels investors, because this is a term that's newer. Maybe up until 5 years ago, not a lot of people knew about it. Fortunately, you have social media, like you said, Shark Tank. It's becoming more and more prominent. But for the people that don't know, just kind of talk a little bit about what angel investors are.
Well, an angel investor really is a high net worth individual who is willing to risk their capital to support the dreams and the visions of an entrepreneur. And been around for centuries, and I think that term angel investor was coined back in the late 1890s. Because some entrepreneur wanted money and they got the money. Oh, you're an angel. So, but again, what you just said, and I got to emphasize this because it's so significant. Shark Tank TV show canceled season 1, then brought back. Canceled season 2, then brought back. Now it's a staple, one of the most successful shows there is, and it's educating people on everything about capital formation for the small business, which is what drives the economy, is what drives innovation. And think about it, every company started in a garage starts somewhere.
Exactly. And that, for people, people realize enough. You see when they talk about such large corporations, people think that that's the lifeblood of the free market in this country, and they don't realize that small business is where it's at.
That's it.
And they're the ones, and first of all, they're the ones who are inventing, and they're the ones who are investing, and they're the ones who are putting their blood, sweat, and tears into it because they believe in the product. And in my personal experience, people that believe in their product versus people that just create product to make money, there's a tremendous difference in that product, and you could see it, So when you start going down that road, small business is something that is hurt on a regular basis in this country through overregulation.
Absolutely.
Taxation is one of the biggest effects of small business, and now you have Obamacare, you have a lot of other things. But people need to remember that without small business, I think, 55% of the workforce wouldn't be.
That's absolutely. I think it's even higher than that.
Is it
actually.
that now?
I mean, you think about it, it's like that's where everything starts.
Mm-hmm.
And everything grows from there, and everything is innovated from there. And, of course, the bigger companies get bigger and all that kind of stuff. But and you think about it, and then again, why do we do this too? It's like, one is we're passionate about the entrepreneur, we're passionate about innovation, but then there's that tantalizing tease that I put $100,000 in Facebook when they first started, and I cashed out for $500 million.
Exactly. Well, and we're in Vegas. It's the land of the tease, right? There's so many people that want to go downstairs and put $1 down and get 38 in return. Everybody has that in them, and it's also the excitement too. And
right.
You brought up Shark Tank, but I think in this country we want to root for people to do well.
Yes.
And Shark Tank's a prime example. You turn on that show. Okay, here's this kid. This kid has this invention. It's a really good invention. He may be a little bit jaded on how to get it out there, and all of a sudden you start root for him. Hey, he's got a good thing. He's a good kid. He just needs a little bit of help. I think that we want to root for somebody like
Absolutely.
that, and either financially, like you're saying, but we need more of that in this country, and I don't think it happens enough. I think it's great with the TV show. Well, yeah, I can sit around, eat my popcorn, and watch it. But that happens every day throughout this country, hundreds of times a day, where you have somebody that has a great product and something that could change the world for better. And they just don't know how to get out there, but people want them to be out there. So hopefully your book will help make that more of a success and get people to get out there and start understanding investment in both angel, like you said, which I think is kind of a cool term because when you explain it, I never even thought about it. It makes perfectly good sense.
Right.
And get this country back. We're in California with our small business. It's almost like they don't want you to open as a small business. You know what I mean? So
it is so different. I'm in California too, and just like, and then listening to the CEO of Carl's Jr.'s last night say it take him 231 days to open up a Carl's Jr. in California. You're just going, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it's not like he's never done it before, right? It doesn't matter how many times you do it; it still takes that long to get it done.
Gosh.
So, but I think that we see that, and people get automatically discouraged. And I've had plenty of friends that have had decent business models, business plans. They look at the regulation involved. They look at they have the capital for the product, but the capital for the state license and X, Y, and Z, this, that.
Right.
And they're like, what's the point?
No.
Why should I do it?
It's a huge issue, and thank you for giving a platform to talk about it because we need to get more people involved. And here's another very big key. You've heard of the friends, families, and fools. Have you ever heard that term?
I happen to be a fool, but yes. I have.
So here's the issue with that, right? So I got a great invention. I start talking to my friends about it. My friends invest. I go out of business, and then they turn into fools. That's where that whole friends, family, and fools. Why? Because they didn't have the education to succeed. So that's the other part of Angel Investors Network is we're a group of successful entrepreneurs and lawyers and doctors and people that are passionate about this that we want to coach and mentor and help them succeed. And then we also want to coach and mentor the new investor who's watching Shark Tank going, I'd like to invest in that deal, but wait, let's back up, pull the reins back. Let's teach you due diligence. Let's teach you how to do, what are the red flags to look for, and let's get you to where you're comfortable, and let's have you invest with a crowd, which, by the way, a little quite side note, is Shark Tank really is a crowdfunding platform, right? It's like they know now when they're doing their shows and filming it, they already know what their audience is buying because they have 6 years of history. So do you think they're taking much risk? Because they know when that show goes on the air.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there. And just because they don't win doesn't mean that it doesn't go forward because it only takes that one or two people out there to be like, you know what, I know how to turn that into a winner, and they very well may.
And a lot of people that don't get funded on the show, they're getting calls after they get on the show, and they're getting funded. Their revenues are increasing. Their sales are going up. They're getting investors that, hey, I saw you on Shark Tank.
I got to get on Shark Tank, apparently.
Hey, Angel Investors Network, next best thing, right?
I'm absolutely looking forward to it. Tell everyone where they can find you, please, Greg.
So our domain is angelnetwork.com. Just real simple, angelnetwork.com. You can Google it and there come up. The book should be listed on Amazon as of today. So
Saving America, one crowd at a time.
Saving America, one crowd at a time. And my name, in order to like plant that, like how they say that, like that seed or like that thing. It's Greg Writer, right? And it's like an author writer. It's a typewriter.
Right.
And it's funny because I'd go to shows and my name is printed on the name badge and like, oh, you're a writer. And I'm like, yeah,
No. Well, I am technically, and I'm also a writer.
Yeah, but they'd ask me, what have you written? I'm like, well, I haven't written anything. It's like, but I thought you're a writer. It's like, no, you are. And I'm like, you say, it's like, so now I can actually say I am an author.
Well, congratulations on the book. Thank you so much for joining us here. I greatly appreciate it. Everyone go check out the website, but check out the book. It's one of those things that I think entrepreneurship is something that has driven this country to be great and will continue to drive people to be great. And we need more people to take a chance in themselves and take a chance in somebody else they believe in.
Absolutely. Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Greg. Thank you, sir.
Absolutely.
We'll be back here from the floor of Freedom Fest on the SHR Media Network with more great interviews. Make sure you go to shrmedia.com, click on Freedom Fest 2015 to hear all of our interviews that we've had and more coming up this afternoon. Thank you. We will talk to you soon.
I want to get somebody to take
The best late-night conservative talk show in America, Sackheads Radio. And listen, there are no people better on the air to give you the best in conservative talk than Sackhead Sean and Sackhead Clint. And we're working on the immigration papers for a certain other guy who happens to work here, too.